In my earlier video, we discussed about epics. So epics are very high level features which need to be broken down further to estimate it more accurately. So that was about epics. Now, for example, if you say user management, that becomes an epic because we need more finer details to estimate it and even do the development of that work. Now epics, we decompose those epics into a feature, and the feature constitute the product backlog. So some of the features can be at a epic level, some are more granular, they are decomposed into more granularity. So that is about product backlog owned by the product owner. I'll come out with another video explaining product backlog and product backlog grooming and all those things. In this video, we'll focus on the components of a user story and the purpose of it. Now, this feature 1, I'm expanding it into a user story, and the components of the user story are, first is we have the feature 1, the description is there, and we are saying it is user login is the feature. Then we give a description of that features. So here we are saying as a new user, one should be able to register with a unique username. As a new user, one should be able to provide a strong password. As a new user, one should be able to recover password. In case the password is missed out, I should be able to recover the password. Periodically, the user should be reminded to update the password, and password must be encrypted. So these are the descriptions with respect to user login. Then while discussing with the team, people may ask me more questions about it. Then all those conversations are captured here. Now, as part of conversation, somebody said, okay, it should have a CAPTCHA. That we accepted that. Yes, okay, fine. A CAPTCHA should be there. And the password should have special characters and uppercase. So that is also captured as part of conversations, because initial user story did have only the description and the acceptance criteria. Conversations gets captured as and when we have discussions with the other stakeholders and engineers. More and more information we may get. So those things are also captured as conversations. Then upfront we are defining the acceptance criteria, like this must be tested with an empty user ID and it must be rejected. Test with an invalid user ID, it must be rejected. Test with an empty password, it must be rejected. Test with the wrong password, it must be rejected. Test by creating a password without special characters, it must be rejected. And test with the correct user ID and password, it must be accepted. The bare minimum acceptance criteria also must be defined in the user story. Once we have this much information, then it is easy to estimate it. We have more visibility about the feature, so it becomes much easier to estimate it. That is the purpose of user story. Otherwise, what can happen is, as a product owner, if I walk into a planning meeting with epic level features or just one-liner features which is part of the product backlog, and without a user story, if I walk in and when the engineers ask me tough questions, I will not be able to answer, and in the process the planning meeting itself can fail. So in the user story, again, one key thing is we don't use technical jargons. We use business language, because very often the product owners are business people. They don't understand technical jargon. So this is the right language. As a user, one should be able to do what? As a user, I want to do this. As an admin, I want to do this. As an experienced user, I want to do this. Yeah, as a manager, I want to do this kind of. then it becomes much easier. The technical details we will give to the technical team. These are just business requirements. One of the challenges I'm facing is sometimes people squeeze in a lot of technical terminology into this. There's one project I still remember, the product owner was a doctor with 15 years clinical practice experience. That person is absolutely zero in technology. That means even an Excel sheet that person doesn't know how to use. But at the same time, the domain knowledge is excellent. So many of the product owners are of that category. So in a user story, we always use the business language. We don't use technical jargons. And with the user story, we will be able to come out excellent estimates, and it is a great way to communicate the features to the relevant stakeholders. And while expanding a feature into a user story, the product owner will get enough time to think through the feature. That means before getting into planning meetings, the product owner has done his homework, and it becomes much easier to conduct an effective iteration planning meeting. Thank you very much.